Thanks for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. We have a host of them with us, and so many diverse stories. Looking at Nigerian Tribune, first off, and of course the explosion rocking sections of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, is the biggest story, and there are several riders to support this worrying news. Security men flood parts of Bodija Estate, many injured and rushed to the University College Hospital, as well as other health facilities. Vibration from blast felt across city, houses shattered, destroyed, malls affected. Government describes explosion as uncommon, deploys security, paramilitary chiefs, as well as fire service operatives. In the meantime, NEMA staff are said to be part of the rescue operations. Police has also reacted, saying the number of deaths and injured are yet unknown, and there are also some pictures on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune showing the level of destruction. Other stories there, former President Buhari speaking at a book launch on Tuesday in Abuja on why he didn't sack the then governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. The former president also goes on to defend Nigeria's redesigned policy. And another story, President Tinubu says, like Buhari, I have adopted policy of non-interference. On the plateau attacks, Middle Belt Southern leaders advocate state policing, and the bottom corner of the front page, APC adopts direct primaries for Edo Gobo poll. Edo APC chairman resigns. Fiscal federalism, restructuring important for good governance. This is a quote attributed to Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State. Front page of The Nation now. President raises red alert over rising banditry kidnapping. Tinubu demands concrete action from service chiefs, while Inspector General, as well as the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, swing into action. There is a report talking about the torrents of tributes for BC Akonde, APC chieftain, at his 85th birthday celebration in Ibadan on Tuesday. EFCC quizzes AGF in humanitarian ministry probe. And of course, the quote by Buhari is also trending on why he didn't fire the former CBN governor, Emefiele. Next is Blueprint. Still on insecurity. Will wipe out every agent of darkness, says President Tinubu. Of course, we told you about his meeting with security chiefs, where he also assured that Boko Haram and Saru banditry gangs will all be phased out, but there are still, worrying incidents of kidnappings and other levels of criminality. Mother-son kidnapped, father escapes in Zaria, community protests. Wike assures FCT residents cautions area council bosses. NNPC Limited uncovers 83 illegal refineries, 15 pipelines in 7 days. Nigeria gets $14 million grant for polio eradication. And WHO launches $1.5 billion appeal for key emergencies in 2024. Let's check our first news now. On insecurity, the president vows will crush Boko Haram bandits and other agents of darkness. Of course, we've talked about that earlier. On CBN intervention, Fitch blacklists Union Bank. Also, U.S. returns $8.9 million looted under former President Jonathan. Of course, this lump sum of money has now been returned to the country. Interior Minister Tunji Ojo shuns the Code of Conduct Bureau summon. He had hinted that he had pressing engagement and would honor its invitation at a later date. Alleged fraud, EFCC grills Federal Character Commission chairman in Abuja. Shell agrees to sell SPDC, announces plan to exit Nigeria. And let's check out Nigerian News Direct. President Tinubu made security chiefs at Aso Rock amid bandits' invasions. Despite revenue shortage, Buhari embarked on most ambitious infrastructure projects that's coming from President Tinubu, who is commending his predecessor. U.S. court orders forfeiture of more than 5 billion naira stolen assets to Nigeria. Explosion rocks Ibadan. Number of casualties yet unknown. Shell sells off onshore subsidiary to Renaissance Consortium. Of course, you can check out all the stories as they suit your fancy. The Punch, the last paper with me before I hand over to Ibraheem. Anti-kidnapping protest holds in Abuja this Wednesday as 10 suspects arrested. It's been captioned Abduction Epidemic, according to the Punch. But yes, this is a worrying spate, and there is said to be a protest holding today. Federal government saves 8 trillion naira from subsidy removal, FX reform. That's according to Tinubu panel. And finally, refinery Dangote investors gain 1.2 trillion naira. Ibrahim.
Leadership newspaper is the first with me. Kidnapping, Tinubu, Wike service chiefs brainstorm on crisis. It's disturbing, ungodly, says President. IGP orders DIG to crush kidnappers. FCT gives area council chairman marching orders. Cancel the domestic crude oil allocation to ease forex supply, Agora policy. Nasarawa Sule Ombugado seek victory at Supreme Court. Shell exits Nigeria's onshore after 88 years. Explosion causes pandemonium in Ibadan. AFCON, Namibia stunned Tunisia 1-0. Burkina Faso beat Mauritania. You see that on page 30. At book launch, Buhari apologizes for hard decisions. Above the nameplate, Trump sweeps Iowa caucus ahead of 2024 race. 80 rescued, 12 confirmed dead in Niger boat mishap. This Nigeria is next. Insecurity. Police get marching order to flush out criminals terrorizing citizens. And the riders read Tinubu, Wike hold emergency meetings. FCT minister says area council chairman must sit up, urges residents not to panic. Plateau attacks, Middle Belt, Southern leaders advocate state policing. FRS targets 19.4 trillion naira tax revenue in 2024. Buildings collapse as explosion rocks Ibadan. 54th anniversary of Biafran War, Ohaneze Ndigbo urges Tinubu to end agitation. And on the ear of the newspaper, cash outside banks hit 92% in November 2023, higher than pre-Naira redesign level. Vanguard newspaper, such a busy front page this morning. Tinubu, Wike rise against insecurity, vow renewed action. And I think I've never seen riders as many as these. This is about 9 riders. Meet service chiefs, vows to secure every inch of Nigeria, says he inherited many assets, liabilities from Buhari. IGP meets task force, tactical squad commanders. You can read that up on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Above the nameplate, NNPC should have privatized refineries before rehabilitation. This is according to Atiku. 83 illegal refineries uncovered in 1 week. I prepared myself for probe. That's according to former President Muhammad Buhari. Divestment. Shell reaches deal to sell onshore oil fields for $2.4 billion. Now, buildings destroyed as explosion rocks parts of Ibadan. Federal government building fiscal resilience to reduce foreign borrowing. That's according to Finance Minister. Palliatives funds. There is plot to link Baja. That's according to source. And Afeba Balola says the immune executive also had no right to waive the immunity. This is because the immunity is not to the person holding the office, but to the office he or she represents. Sports, AFCON 2023, Nigerians should keep supporting us. Trust Ekong begs. You can read that up on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Next is Daily Trust newspaper. Residents feared dead. Buildings destroyed as explosion rocks Ibadan. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Nasarawa, Kemi government disputes. Despite multi-billion naira complex, NSA's office commits 32 billion naira to new buildings. It's misplacements of priorities. The CSO's expert reacting. Insecurity. Bandits abduct 17 in Niger. Tinubu summons service chiefs. Federal government seeks France's help. IGP deploys DIGs in Abuja. Security agents have gone to sleep. Senator Kingibe. Next is Salient Times. 2027, Labour Party distances itself from merger talk with PDP, NNPP, calls for audits of party accounts. Leaked memo shows 3 billion naira COVID fund was diverted to social register verification. Man's side chick drags his wife to court for threatening her with death. Wahala. Now, IGP orders intensified efforts to decimate kidnappers in FCT. Police arrest officer caught extorting university students in Ogun. You've done Nigeria a favor. Buhari commends Femi Adesina for writing book on him. Woman kills her 2 children and herself after fight with husband. My son does look like Obasanjo, Samuel Spiff, Ajibola admits. Man seeks refuge in church after being chased out of his home by alleged violent wife. And then NSCDC nabs father who tries to sell 6-year-old son for 20 million naira. That's according to the Salient Times this morning. Next is the Daily Independent. NCAA to review minimum 6 aircraft for intending airlines. Stakeholders advise regulator on how to stimulate aviation growth. IGP asks DIG to coordinate upscale security strategies nationwide. Afenifere identifies state police restructuring as panacea to insecurity. I'll stamp out vestiges of Boko Haram, kidnappers, others. Tinubu says Buhari assumed office at very difficult period. We will continue to work from where he stopped. That's about it for the Daily Independent. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Federal government opts for conditional divestment as oil majors trade $4.5 billion assets. Endless hurdles for free trade zone act 32 years after. Federal government's order on border closure still in force, says Customs. State police restructuring security agencies, panacea to kidnappings, others. Political class, security chiefs promise action on killings, abduction epidemic. To check absconding teachers and salvage education sector. A governor calls for calm as casualties, damaged buildings, trail Ibadan explosion. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. And last but not least, penultimate paper with me here is the Business Times. How Nigeria can attract more investments, achieve economic growth in 2024. Rwani says structural bottlenecks, market inefficiencies limiting Nigeria's economic growth. Insecurity, Tinubu vows to root out all agents of darkness. Supreme Court reserves judgments in Nasarawa, Kebbi states, governorship election. Footwear training, federal government plans to improve skilled youth workforce. Shell to sell Nigeria onshore subsidiary. Shell to sell Nigerian onshore subsidiary, SPDC, for $1 billion above the nameplate Nigerian telecom market value projected to hit $11.43 billion in 5 years. Nigeria stock market sustains gaining streak, up 1.82 trillion naira. Last but not least is a Nature newspaper. Reviewed Lagos areas where air quality is unhealthy. Part of them are Oshodi, Lagos Island, Lamata, Ketu, Ikotun, etc. You can grab a copy and get a full gist on that. Federal government urged to drive waste to feed initiatives for food security. Also, IPCC holds 60th climate change plenary in Istanbul. Port Harcourt refinery set to resume operations after $1.5 billion makeover. Residents should not pay for electricity transformers, says Power Minister. And then over 14 million people at risk of climate crisis by 2050, warns World Economic Forum. That's the WEF. That's about it for the Nature newspaper and the newspapers for reviews this morning.
Ibrahim, well, we have await more information regarding the explosion in Oyo State. There is also the concerning spate of insecurity in several parts of the country, especially in Abuja. And crucial meetings were held yesterday. And we also await, more action that will, be commensurate with the meetings that the president and all the other, leaders in Abuja are making, and all the efforts they are making to stem the tide. In the meantime,